Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. Eric here, Kim here. We are going to discuss M3GAN. What better way to kick off 2023? She's hip, she's now, she is the moment.
She is
uh,
no better way.
exactly. Than M3GAN. Yeah, this is the new, this is a, kind of a big deal behind the scenes because it's a new Blumhouse movie teaming with James Wan's Atomic Monster Productions. They also teamed on the Insidious movies, of course. Sounds like they're going to permanently team up and actually just sort of join forces as a mega horror conglomerate. But this is M3GAN stars Allison Williams as Gemma, her niece Katie, played by Violet McGraw. Her parents pass away, and so Katie comes to live with Gemma. Gemma is not prepared to have a child in her life, but what Gemma does have is a genius level a knowledge of robotics, and she has a prototype sitting around for her new M3GAN doll. That's Model 3 generative android, of course. And she says, "Hey, my niece, perfect test subject. I'm going to have M3GAN hang out with Katie, see what happens." And at first, everything's great. And M3GAN is a great companion for Katie. And then, she's a murder bot and people start to die. uh, as one does in a movie like this. Kim, what did you think of M3GAN?
Oh, well, there are lots of films that have historically and currently tapped into our fear of technology
Yeah,
as this does. And it goes way back to the likes of Fritz Lang's Metropolis. It's something that has been there since the beginning of cinema. Um, and this is the latest, but it does feel more real these days because we're living in that futuristic world now
right.
where we have AI that hasn't quite, as far as I know, turned murderous yet. So this is less kind of science fiction and pure horror for that reason, I think, and it only just falls short of science fact. But my biggest takeaway from the film is that it is just truly fun.
Yeah.
It's camp enough, but not so much that it overpowers the story or the kind of horror of it, I suppose, or the fun of it even, because, sometimes the campness gets so much it becomes a bit self-satisfied and too much drawing attention to itself. And I think this strikes a really good balance. It's really well handled. So yeah, but there's nothing kind of majorly original here, just a really fun ride.
Yeah, no, I really agree with you on the tone that it's a fine line that they really capture because it's not a parody, but it's certainly you understand that the filmmakers know the movie they made and they are kind of leaning into it and winking at you without crossing that line into making it farcical. We should mention Gerard Johnston directed this. It's his second movie. He's done a lot of TV, but it's written by Kayla Cooper and story by her and James Wan, who made *Malignant* together. And yeah, it's that sort of goofy, but not completely. It's taking itself seriously, but it's also being like, yeah, we're having fun here, guys. And I really enjoyed what it was doing here, striking that balance. And yeah, what you said about AI is very true. I understand that everyone's going to bring up Chucky because he's the most famous killer doll. He's not the only one, guys. It's a tradition. But I did think about this is more like the Child's Play remake than the original Chucky series and like that animated movie Ron's Gone Wrong, because it is something we're all thinking about the idea of like an AI and our smart houses and everything they do for us, and just taking it to that horror movie level of the smart companion for your kid who might decide that protecting the kid means killing people left and right.
Yeah,
What did you think of M3GAN herself, by the way, since obviously she's the title character?
well, I mean, she is like she's a new horror icon, isn't
Yeah.
she? And James Wan and Jason Blum have obviously got a knack of creating these huge horror IPs that kind of are franchisable, and M3GAN is perfect for that. And I interviewed Alison Williams and the director Gerard Johnston before the holidays, and they talked about some of her the doll's better qualities, and she does have them. And Alison talked about how watching it in the theater with the crowd is really behind her,
Yes.
um, and really enjoying kind of everything she does. Yeah.
Yeah, she just works. She yeah, like that right balance of creepy, funny, compelling. we should mention there was a young actress, Amy Donald, who sometimes played her on set. They're being a little secretive about how much they used animatronics versus the young actress. Then Jenna Davis did the voice, but it all just works. Like the tone, the sort of chipper, upbeat tone she has, then she can get ominous. She has a presence. And yeah, she just really does become iconic. It's funny, Kim, because I was thinking about how I really want there to be more horror movie female iconic villains.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a downer that they keep being dolls when we do get them. At least Jennifer Tilly gets to play Tiffany as a human as well.
Yeah.
But I do think Megan quickly. I mean, I think we already saw some people have been dressing as Megan. They've really embraced it with like the premiere of this movie and promotion, sending girls out dressed like Megan. And
Yeah.
I think I'll buy a Megan action figure. You know.
Yeah, me too. And one of the things that I really liked was, you know, she is kind of goofy, and we've all seen that moment where she does the TikTok dance
Yes.
in the clip. Um, but that isn't just there kind of to throw in as a fun kind of wink, as we were saying before. She's a learning doll, so she picks things up from the internet. So she will be perusing TikTok and getting behaviors and songs and all that kind of thing from the internet. So it makes total sense that she behaves that way.
Exactly. And also, we're seeing her in a lot in the clips. I want to mention, I think Violet McGraw is really good. Obviously, putting so much on a kid can go either way. But if you're a Mike Flanagan fan like me, she's part of the Flanagang. She was in both Haunting of Hill House and Doctor Sleep. So quite a little scream queen already here. And I think she's great.
Mm.
You know, sort of a lot of the movie is centered on her and Megan having these scenes together. We're seeing here, obviously, that moment with the kid in the woods. Let's talk about the rating, because this is always sort of a little bit of a lightning rod for people, which is this Megan is rated PG-13. What did you think of that as far as like, would you do you wish it had gone further as far as like what it can show graphically in this movie?
Yeah, I mean, my answer to that is always. I always want things to go extreme, but I don't think this needed it. And there were moments that were quite brutal. You mentioned that moment in the woods. That's one. And you know, that kind of had me go, oh, did they really go there? And so yeah, I suppose didn't really need it.
I disagree a little bit on that front. It's funny because I don't think horror movies have to be R. I think there's a lot of good ones are PG-13, so it's not
Mm.
like it doesn't have to be R to really prove themselves. I did feel this movie like almost like, because the tone of it, I felt like, oh, there's a version of this movie that is sort of gleefully rated R, where the kills are super bloody and gory. It was interesting to read that it was rated R and that the studio, they decided that they wanted PG-13 and they changed it. It makes sense what I read, which is that they actually reshot stuff. They didn't just cut it. So that's good, because it meant that instead of just trimming scenes, they could actually approach them from a different way. So I don't feel like when I'm watching the scenes, it's like, oh, you can tell they cut away. But there is a part of me with the tone of Megan that I'm like, I don't want to see that Megan covered in blood moment, you know. So that's my one complaint about this movie. Really is the alternate reality version. I would have gone with it.
Yeah.
Maybe a sequel. We'll see.
Oh, I'm happy to see that. I'm happy to see that version too, Eric.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I feel like if you have enjoyed the trailers for Megan, like looking at reaction online, there's a lot of people that are super into this and having so much fun with it and the
Mm.
dance and all. And there's some people saying this looks lame. I kind of feel like that will be your reaction to the movie, because it delivers. If you were intrigued by the trailers, it's going to deliver for you. You know,
Yeah.
if you're already like a killer doll. Killer dolls are cool. Yes.
It's funny because we talk about Killer Doll and we talked about the AI of it all, but in that conversation I had with the director, he said it's more like The Hand That Rocks the Cradle than any of those films, which is interesting because it's essentially for him about motherhood.
Yeah, no, because it is about that sort of that person. She's not a real person, but someone you've taken in under your roof as a protector who has, a ominous side to them. It's so funny because again, people are going to bring up Child's Play. I love the Child's Play movies, but when people are like, this is exactly like Child's Play, I'm like, well, no, it's not. I mean, I get Killer Doll, but even the original Chucky with like a serial killer who's possessing a doll who doesn't care about the kid and just wants to get out of the doll party. Nothing to do with this, which is about like the yeah, she's like a psychotic babysitter. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
like, I will protect this girl to the end. What would you give this movie out of 5 stars, Kim?
Well, from what I've said, you might be surprised at this, but I'm going to give it a solid 3, and that's
Ah,
mainly yeah, and I reel it back because I don't think it offers anything much beyond a fun ride. It's nothing really original. There are some themes that you might continue to think about afterwards, like the motherhood thing, the absent father thing. But on the whole, it's just fun. Something that would be really good to watch with a group of friends. So a
uh,
3.
this will continue, Kim. You being the tougher rater and me being the easier rater between it, but I'm giving it a 3.5. Honestly, I probably would have given it a 4 if it was the gory version, because that to me that was a criticism for me because it just felt like the movie wanted to go there and they didn't. But I'm giving it 3.5. And yeah, being like this is a solid recommendation. Again, if you watch those trailers and you think that looks fun, it will deliver that fun, and I think you will have an enjoyable time. And we can all, I guarantee you, if they make a sequel, there's going to be a lot more M3GAN dancing because they realized people are into that. So, uh,
The
M3GAN,
Wednesday dance.
yeah, oh yeah, they should team up. See, by the way, the whole M3GAN and Chucky Twitter accounts insulting each other has been very entertaining. They're both owned by Universal, so they can make that crossover happen if they want. That's our thoughts on M3GAN, the iconic M3GAN. We say check it out. Thanks, guys, for checking out our review of M3GAN, and we'll have plenty more here at Fandom. Farewell.